Welcome to StoryCircle's Unthemed JLT. Just like that, stories, super fun stories by super fun storytellers from India and outside. Now, most of you who know me, I'm the founder of StoryCircle by I Nurture Me Learning Services, a dedicated center for storytelling training in Ahmedabad. And if you know me, you would also know that I generally start any of my stories with this song. But today, there is a twist in the story. The Kisso Ka Kahaniyon Ka Chhaba, I am not going to bring it. It is going to be brought to you live by one of my very, very dear friends and a wonderful storyteller. Her name is Sonia Bareja, and she's right here with us. Would you like to say hello to Sonia while I introduce you to her? Okay. Just give me a minute. So, ladies and gentlemen, and all the little ones, let me bring to you Sonia Bareja. She is also fondly known as Pied Piper Sonia in the storytelling world and is a professional with 20 years of varied experience as an educator, entrepreneur, counselor, storyteller, wellness coach, mentor, and sales and marketing professional. Phew, isn't that great? And alongside, she also conducts sessions on sexuality and wellness in schools. She's been conducting performance based storytelling across schools, colleges, festivals, and a lot of other places. And she's been appreciated for her strong voice through modulation and narration. And today, we are so happy to have Sonia Bareja. And I've already told you she's a very dear friend and, of course, a wonderful storyteller amongst us at Story Circle to bring us all the joy of super fun stories for all our children, parents, and teachers from the entire community of Story Circle. Sonia, a big warm welcome and a big virtual hug to you. And let's talk about the gem, the story gem that Sonia is bringing to us today. And as I told you already, that she's often been appreciated for strong voice throw, modulation, and narration. Do you get the hint? Yes. Over to you, Sonia. Thank you so much and welcome to Unthemed Super Fun Stories just like that. Over to you.
Thank you so much, dear Yogita, for this wonderful introduction. It couldn't have been better to hear and start your day with this beautiful introduction and wonderful audience and my dearest storyteller friend right here in front of me.
Oh.
All right, so I'll start with this. Kaam gum jayega, चेहरा ये बदल जाएगा, मेरी आवाज ही पहचान है, गर याद रहे. All right, you all must be wondering कि मैंने ये गुलजार साहब की नज्म के साथ क्यों स्टार्ट किया सेशन. So दोस्तों, इस नज्म में एक कहानीकार, एक स्टोरी टेलर के लिए बहुत बड़ा राज छुपा है और वो था मेरी आवाज ही पहचान है मेरी. So आवाज is something for which a storyteller is known for or remembered for, because a story is remembered for two of its elements. One, the story itself, which has the content, the plot, the settings, characters, everything. And second is the narration, how you narrate the story. And the narration rests on two elements. One, the characterization of the characters, and second, the voice, awaz. The voice and the modulation that you use will tell you or will make your story memorable or will make your story fiddle. So that is the story gem that I'm going to talk to you about, the voice, awaz. Ready for that?
Wow.
Yeah. So the voice, I'm not going to bore you with a big lecture or a presentation, but I'm going to give you quick 3 things about voice. What matters in storytelling when the voice is concerned. The first, character's voice. Each story has multiple characters. Now, as a teller, If you're equipped or you're skilled to give a peculiar voice to each character, nothing's like that. But if that's not possible, don't get disheartened. Choose one of your favorite character and give a peculiar, unique voice to that one character. It could be a different accent, it could be a speech pattern, or it could be a silly tone or anything silly. Give that to the character. Nothing. So one character, just one character. If you can give it to all characters, great. But choose one of your favorite character and give a peculiar voice to one character. Second, Yogita, I'm hearing my voice back. I don't know why. Maybe the recording voice is coming back to me. Okay, it's better now. Yeah. And the second thing is the remote of your voice. Now we have the remote control, and that remote control has various buttons.
Sonia, just hold on. Just hold on.
Second, so we'll Yogita, I'm hearing my voice back. I don't know why.
Sonia, just hold on. Just stop for a minute. Just stop for a minute. Let's. Okay, now you speak.
Yeah. So I was just saying three things about voice. The first is the character's voice. And as I said, if you can't give voice to all the characters, it's okay. Don't get disheartened. Pick up one character and give a unique voice to that character. It could be using your accent or a speech pattern, or if nothing, have a silly thing, or have a silly tone, have a silly voice attached to that character. Second is have your remote control handy, not in your pockets or in your bag. It should be in your hands. Now, what are the buttons on the remote? The buttons are pitch, pace, volume, pause, silence. These are important buttons. Put them or switch them on to make your voice loud or soft. Or go very fast and tell the story really fast. Or go slow. I want to tell a story. So keep these buttons handy on your remote. The third and the most important thing is use hand gestures to enhance your voice. Because hands, my dear friends, always speak emotions, speak expressions. They create story. When I want to get frightened, I use my hands. So my hands enhance the voice. Now, stories can be told in various forms. They are told as fairy tales, folk tales, children's stories, adult stories, jingles, or TV commercials, or even our desi Bollywood flicks. Let's quickly take examples to understand what we just spoke. I think we all remember the iconic Sholay and the more iconic Gabbar Singh and the more iconic dialogue of Gabbar Singh, Kitne Aadmi The. Imagine if Gabbar wouldn't have said it like this, Kitne Aadmi The. We wouldn't have remembered this dialogue. He used the long, elongated Kitne Aadmi The. And he used a loud pitch. That is why we remember. Now, remember the iconic Bajaj Electricals ad, the bulbs, where there's a little child, small child, and it's an ad which was 30, 40 years ago, but we still remember because of the narration. जब मैं छोटा लड़का था बड़ी शरारत करता था मेरी चोरी पकड़ी जाती ting 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 ting. The silly voice, the sound of a child showing innocence because he's sneaking through the refrigerator and eating in the night because of bulb, the Bajaj bulbs in the fridge or in the kitchen. He grows old, cut to the last scene, he becomes a old man. The plot remains same. He's still that badmash boy. Voice change. अब मैं बिल्कुल बूढ़ा हूँ, गोली खाकर जीता हूँ, लेकिन आज भी घर के अंदर ting 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 ting. The sound remained the same. The voice changed. Innocence remained the same. The story remained the same. Power of voice is used. Now, let's look at one of our favorite children's story, Lion and the Mouse. शेर और चूहे की कहानी बचपन में हम सबने सुनी है और as tellers हम सबने सुनाई है. The story starts very simply. Once upon a time, there was a jungle, and in the jungle stayed a lion and a mouse. Now imagine using the voice if I say this story like this. Once upon a time, there was a jungle. And in that jungle stayed a big lion. And he growled like this. And in that jungle stayed little tiny mouse. Now it's the same line said with a lot of variation of voice. When you said big lion, I use my hand gestures to show and demonstrate to the children that big is this. And when I said little tiny mouse, tiny mouse, it's tiny. My hands are becoming tiny. My hands are becoming big. So imagine with the power of story and voice, you just introduce the concept of opposites. The child will, for his life, remember big, small are opposites. So this is how I believe that voice is a big gem in storytelling. It doesn't require anything to be bought from outside, no fancy props. It's inside your voice box. And don't worry, sometimes you're born with a good voice, but it can be acquired. The best part is by doing some exercises, it can be acquired. And you can always practice, 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 and have the voice of a lion, like when you growl. Well, that's where I would like to end my story gem. I hope you enjoyed, liked, and now.
Absolutely. The comments have started coming in. Thank you so much, Sonia. That was a nice long growl by the lion. So it was lovely. And I think we have somebody joining in here with us. Just check for that, Sonia. Because I can't see her. Rachna, is that you here?
1+7. It says 1+7. I can't see a name, Yogita.
Yeah, so that's why I'm asking, is that Rachna here with us? Probably she's not able to connect.
No.
Okay, no worries. So even, all right, there you are. Hi, Rachna. Hi, Rachna. How are you? 1 second, let me unmute you.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry, it got unmuted.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, all our viewers live, this is a very, very special occasion where we just do not have the storyteller telling us the story, but it is that rare occasion where we also have the story author right here with us when the storyteller tells us the story. So let's hear, Rachna, would it be okay for you to share a little bit, about the concept, what intrigued you to writing this story? I haven't yet revealed the name of the story today, though it's there on the creative. So Sonia, between you and Rachna, you want to give the name and then Rachna can talk a bit about
Yogita, if you suggest, I think I'll tell the story first. Let the viewers hear the story. And then since we have Rachna here, she can also add to.
Yes.
Rachna, then you can tell us and makes us aware that how did this beautiful story come into your mind when you were writing it years ago. So is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
For me, it's okay. All right, let's do that. So over to you, Sonia. I'm putting you on spotlight so that people can see you, loud and clear, actually, since you're talking about voice. Yeah.
All right.
Here you go.
Yeah.
And so the story, the title, and the story.
Okay. The title of the story is When Vegetables Fought Elections. Yes, it's a humorous story written by a very, very dear friend of mine. And I'm very glad and humbled to have her here in the session, Rachna Chhabria. You can see her live there on the screen. She's there. A story written by her came to me a couple of months, or in fact, I think more than a year ago. And I have mesmerized or tried to mesmerize my audience with this beautiful, humorous, laughable story, but with a very, very, very powerful message. So without any further delay, let me start this story where I'll take you to a far, far, far ago, long, long, long time ago. There was a village, and the village's name was Sabzipur. Yeah, you heard me right. Sabzipur, because there were only sabzis staying in that village. All the vegetables, if you can think of potatoes, tomatoes, carrots, onions, brinjal, spinach, cauliflower, all the vegetables stayed and stayed rather happily in that village. And the village was ruled by a king, a monarch. As some of you would know what's a monarch or who's a monarch, a king who rules a place. And this place, the king was, let me show you who the king was. I have him right here. This was the king, Potato. And his name was Paunchy Potato. Why he was called Paunchy Potato, you can see yourself. He was very fat, like this. The only thing Paunchy Potato loved doing was eating and sleeping. And his favorite food was carrots. Every now and then he would walk in the fields, he would pluck the carrots, pluck, and he would eat. He would pluck, pluck. And when his tummy, the big fat tummy, would be full, he would sleep. And when he would sleep, he would snore. You know how he snored? Like this. Next morning, he would again wake up. That's it. He would not do anything for his village and the sabzis. So all the sabzis were very upset with their king. They did not like their king at all. So much so that one day they all got together and they all went up to the wisest and the oldest sabzi. Do you know who the wisest and the oldest sabzi was? Pumpkin. His name was Petu Pumpkin. They all went to Petu Pumpkin because he was the oldest and he was the wisest. When all the vegetables arrived, he asked, why have you come here? What is the problem, my dear friends? He asked in a deep voice. The vegetables went up to him and told him, Mr. Pumpkin, we have a lot of problems. You know what? We are not happy with our king, the Paunchy Potato. He is extremely bad as a king. He just doesn't do anything for the village. He only eats and sleeps, eats and sleeps. And we have nothing to do with him. Please, please, Mr. Pumpkin, help us. Now, Mr. Pumpkin, being a wise old man, thought, okay, well, I can help you. I only have one suggestion. You all have to change your leader. Vegetables reacted. What? But Paunchy Potato has been our king for the longest time. The pumpkin looked at them rather seriously and said, oh, well, that is exactly what I am suggesting. Change the potato as a king. Have a leader that you can choose. What? The vegetables reacted. We can choose? Please explain. What does that mean? We don't know. The pumpkin looked at them and said, I am talking about a new form of government. That is democracy. Demo? Demo what? The vegetables panicked. Demo? Uh, Demo what? The pumpkin said, stop being silly. I am saying democracy, where you will choose your own leader. And for that, you have to have few contestants. Make them write their promises and tell their promises like a campaign. And one day choose as the day of election, where all the vegetables will come and vote. They will vote for their favorite candidate. And the winner becomes your new leader. Now, just leave. I want to rest. Now, the vegetables were still looking confused, but they all left. They came back to the village and started working on this plan. They called for a big meeting and decided on 4 candidates. Do you want to meet those 4 candidates? Let me introduce those 4 candidates. The first candidate was Outstanding Onion. That's how he looked. Outstanding Onion. The second candidate was Cheesy Chili. This is how she looked. Cheesy Chili. The third candidate was Terrific Tomato. Terrific Tomato. The fourth and the last candidate was Lazy Ladyfinger. Now, Lazy Ladyfinger was the only female candidate. And they all wrote down their promises. Like you would have heard during elections time, the candidates write their promises, write down their commitments, and then they do the campaigning where they meet the people and address the people and tell them what they are going to do for them. Similarly, these candidates wrote big promises and they started to address all the vegetables. And they started to tell and speak what they are going to do for the village. And let's hear what happened in the campaigning. The first candidate's campaigning was Lazy Ladyfinger. And as I said, Lazy Ladyfinger was the only female candidate. And she went up to the stage and started telling all the other vegetables like this. Well, I'm your candidate, Lazy Ladyfinger, and I am going to be really making life easy for all the women. You know what? If you choose me as your leader, I will ensure that none of my women vegetables will have to work. I will make sure that all the men candidates and all the men vegetables, all the male vegetables will have to slog their life. So, ladies and gentlemen, please vote for me right now. Ta-da! Bye! And she left. She just said this as a part of her campaign. Then came the turn of Cheesy Chili. Cheesy Chili was a furious vegetable. He went up to the stage and said, well, I am Cheesy Chili and I make all the vegetables, all the food tasty and yummy. Tell me, who doesn't like chili on their pizzas, on their burgers, on the yummy pasta? And therefore, I'm the most important. You better vote for me. Otherwise, I will not be available for your food. Well, Cheesy Chili only talked about his own importance, that how he makes food spicy and hot and yummy, but nothing else. Then came Terrific Tomato. Terrific Tomato came and said, well, well, well. If you really know me well, you know how important I am for all the vegetables, as I make all the vegetables yummy, tasty, and really smooth and nice. So I think you all need me. And if you all need me, you better vote for me. Well, again, Tomato also talked about its own importance. And who was the last candidate? Outstanding Onion. When Outstanding Onion went up to the stage, he started with a greeting. He said, "Good evening, everyone. And I'm here. So before I begin, I want to thank everyone who has taken out time to be here and listen to me. Well, you all know me. You all know what I do to the vegetables. But all I want to promise today is, if you vote for me, I shall be there for you forever and ever. Whatever are the problems, I'll be there to solve them. Be it electricity, water, school, education, malls, hospitals, I shall be there to help each one of you. So please, each one of you must come on the day of voting and vote for someone who you feel is the best." And again, he greeted everybody and said a goodbye. Now they were impressed. And the campaigning ended. And after a few days, the day of the election happened, where everybody dressed and came for voting. They all pressed the voting button, and the voting finished by evening. And guess who was in charge of counting the votes? Yes, you guessed it right. It was Mr. Petu Pumpkin, who was given the in charge for counting. So he closed the room, shut himself so that there is no disturbance, and he started to count. Tuck, 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 tuck. He took a long time to count because everybody from Sabzipur had voted. And when he had finished, he realized that two candidates, they have got only one vote. Can you guess who these two candidates were? Yes, our Miss Lazy Ladyfinger and our Cheesy Chili could manage only one vote. Nobody voted for them except for their own vote. Terrific Tomato managed a few votes, just a few, little. But Mr. Outstanding Onion got 95% of the votes from Sabzipur, which means he won with a big, big, big margin. He was a clear winner. You know why? Because he talked about the village. He talked about his promises. He talked about being there as a servant. He talked about being there for the villagers. And he showed a lot of gratitude, a lot of humbleness, which is why the whole village voted for him. And he became a clear winner. And from then, the Outstanding Onion became the new leader. But he was not a monarch. He was not a king. He was the new elected leader under democracy. And he ruled with lots of rules, power, and the right use of power. And he was loved by everybody in the village. And one person who was not happy at this decision was our paunchy potato. But he still kept on nom, nom, nom. He still kept on eating the carrots and sleeping and snoring like but this time not as a king but as a common man. And my dear friends, I think this is the time for me to end the story. And since we have the writer of the story here with us, so thank you so much, Rachna, for giving me this and giving all of us this wonderful story. And Yogita, I think I'm done, and we can pass the ball to Rachna's court now.
Thank you, Sonia. That was such a wonderful
story.
lecture. Thank you. Beautiful
Thank you.
storytelling.
Thank you.
Beautiful
Thank you.
expressions, and what a marvelous display of the story gem live in your story.
Thank you.
So God bless you. Thank you once again. Before I, bring on Rachna. Rachna, see what I have here. Do you recognize this? Since Sonia told me that you're coming here as well, I was thinking that, let me bring on the book as well, the one that I have with me. But ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching us here, it's not a regular occasion that you get the storyteller and the story author in one frame. So let's make the most of this opportunity and welcome Rachna Chhabria, the author of this beautiful story called When Vegetables Fought Elections, right? Thank you, Sonia, for telling the story. And over to you, Rachna, if you could please share with us a little bit about how this story came to you.
Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Let me just start with, as a kid, I hated vegetables. I never ate vegetables. I think my grandmother used to keep telling me, eat vegetables, they're good for health. Can you all hear me?
Yes, Rachna, you're loud.
Okay, eat vegetables. I never ate them. I think she got tired of trying to make me eat. So this was my dedication to her, to show her that yes, I loved vegetables. But sadly, the story got published 2 months after she died. So she could never read it. But this was like, okay. But I also felt that the vegetables are good for health, but I somehow never liked them. It was always my, burger and pizza, maybe eating a sandwich, noodles, but give me a normal dal, chawal, sabzi, I hated it. But today I'm one of the biggest crusaders for vegetables. I feel everybody should have the daily quota of vegetables and fruit, and then go ahead and eat what you want. Okay, now when I wrote this story, I wanted to give each vegetable a personality. Like the onion, you think is always little snobbish. The tomato is little shy. Okay, and the potato is absolutely, timid. And of course, the spicy chili and the smart lady finger. So I gave all of them a little speech and a small personality, not very big, because the word count was to write within 2,000 words. But Sonia has done a brilliant job of the props and giving each one a beautiful voice. I think these storytellers like you, Sonia, and others take our story to the next level. What else am I supposed to say?
Okay, no, thank you so much, Rachna. It's such a beautiful story which you have gifted to the world out here and to all the storytellers, because when you write, we are able to tell. So
no, but I think you
also,
and
Sonia wants to say
sorry.
something.
No,
Okay,
I was saying just as an add-on that when I use this story of Rachna about vegetables, I'm sure you would have noticed when we do offline sessions, the names I have chosen are also depicting an interesting language phenomena, which is alliterations.
Yes.
So when I do the story, I teach not only about democracy, monarchy, and these important concepts, but also tell them towards the end of the story that what did you notice special about the name. So outstanding onion or paunchy potato. So they are introduced to this beautiful writing nuance, which is called alliteration, and they really love it. So I thought I'll just mention that as well as a part.
Thank you, Sonia. It's a valuable addition. Yes, Rachna, go ahead.
Sonia has done a brilliant job, one of giving the alliteration, That is a beautiful by itself. And two, she's given each one such an important personality that the kids will identify. I can see a child saying, "Oh, I'm like onion. Oh, I'm like the carrot. Oh, I'm like the tomato." So she's, made the emotional connect with the child so strong through her alliteration, through her props, and through the snoring and the talking and all the other add-ons, I would say, which were not there in the story, of course.
Wow.
Thank
So
you.
that's like Sonia's ingredients, special ingredients being added on to
The
make
Sonia masala.
the Sonia masala. She doesn't need that chili. It
Yeah,
has to be
it's
Sonia.
spicy.
So lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. So,
Thank
ladies
you.
and gentlemen, those who haven't read Rachna's books, let me just, share a little bit about Rachna. Rachna has a fascination for words, and she's at her happiest best when she's writing stories and creating fantasy worlds through her books. And some of her books are Lazy Worm Goes on a Journey, published by Scholastic, The Lion Who Wanted to Sing, and Bunny in Search of a Name, both published by Unison Publications. And there are many more. So you should look out for Rachna Chhabria and you will get all the books. But this is one of my favorites because through this book, which is called Festival Through the Stories, Through the Year Stories, or festival stories, and then there is a tagline through the year. This is my personal favorite because I am able to introduce a lot of Indian festivals to my son through her book. So thank you, Rachna, for doing this and writing this book and for this beautiful story that you've written. And thank you, Sonia, for making this story come alive through your narration. Thank you for being
Thank
both
you.
of you. And Rachna, welcome.
Pleasure is
Surprised to
mine.
have you on Unthemed JLT. And you've been our opening batswoman for this,
Ooh.
as I've been saying that to you. And you've made our day and this initiative worth it with your telling, and Rachna with your presence and the talk about the story title. Thank
Bye.
you so much.
Thank you
Bye.
so much, Yogita. I don't want to leave before saying this big word, which is, I would say it in Hindi, that's called Aabhar. And in English, if people want to know, this is gratitude. So I think you have chosen to do this beautiful event, or whatever you want to call it, unthemed, just like that. But I think bringing in the community and giving it back to the society in the form of stories. Hats off to you, lady. A big salute. And thank you
Thank
so
you
much
so much. You made it
for
possible. All of you made it possible. I alone wouldn't have been able to do it. But this is a time when the community, if we come together, we can create so much more happiness and smiles. And that is what we all need. In giving, we receive so much more. So thank you so much. I have
all
received
love.
so much stuff from all of you. Thank you to our parent, teachers, and children community, our storytellers community out there who are watching us live or may watch us later. Thank you for becoming a part of Unthemed JLT, just like that, super fun stories by StoryCircle. Thank you once again and have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. It was my
Bye.
pleasure.
Bye. Take
Bye.
care. Love you all. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.